Hello, it's Ashley here from Paper&Twine, and last week I managed to get myself a copy of this creative stamping magazine. It was actually published on the 10th of October, but I didn't get it until last week, all about the 30th of October. Anyway, I have a commission in here. We're going to make a card and let's have a little look inside. I'll show you first, I think, what I sent off to the editor. So this issue of Creative Stamping goes on sale on the 10th of October, and I snapped up this commission because I love indigo blue. So with this you get a free indigo blue stamp, and there's all these Christmas themed ones here. It does seem very strange doing Christmas as the sun is blazing. And there's also an indigo blue stencil with 4 different patterns there. I think you can see which one I've used. This was the colour palette I was asked to use. So I'm thinking kind of salvage patina, salty ocean peacock feathers, and then that is a very dark purple. There are some papers with this issue of the magazine. I don't know whether they're physical papers or digital downloads, but I didn't use them. I wasn't required to use them. I could if I wanted to. So 5 cards, different shapes, clean and simple. Here is my first one. It's probably the least clean and simple of the lot, but it's just a rocker card, and I was asked to use this particular stamp, and that is alcohol ink on yupo paper. Yupo paper is heat tolerant, so I've used boysenberry and a little bit of denim, sorry, getting close, to give a depth of colour, and there's a little bit of alloy on there as well. Then I've done this robin card. I was asked to use a variety of colouring medium, so I've used distress watercolour pencils on this, and I quite like the robin's breast there. So that was that. And also, just if you've got nesting dies that are not circles or squares, orientate some of the layers differently just for a different look. I quite like that. I think this is one of my favourite cards. So here I've used Distress Oxides, and this is Distress Oxide spray in Salvage Patina. Look at the texture on that. And I've just sprayed the top of the card with water, and then sprayed with the oxide spray, and then let it run down. I love that. And then there's just some little gems. Now this one, I think I alluded to wanting to use this stamp in a weekly vlog a few months ago, but we got there in the end. So I've used Cosmic Shimmer Pixie Powder for the background, and I think it's Villainous Potion and Mermaid Lagoon for the background, and then I've mixed 2 colours of embossing powder. So you've got white, and then there's a sparkly one, and then some silver gems, and I've heat embossed because Nikki said that she would like some heat embossing. So we've got heat embossing on 2. And then I was also asked to use this large stag stamp. And the brief was clean and simple, as I say. So this is my take on clean, simple and contemporary. I do like the gems on the baubles here. And I've used Lavinia mica spray here to give that watercolour effect. Let's have a look and see what they look like in the magazine. So here we are, issue 140. I had great trouble getting it this month. I don't know why. But anyway, I'm glad to have got my hands on one, because they only send us a digital copy now. They used to send us a physical copy, but to cut down on costs, they send us a digital copy. But I do like to have it in my little hands. Anyway, you know what my cards look like. Let's have a quick flick through and see what we think, and then we're going to make a little card. So I didn't make the front or the back cover, but I did make the inside this issue page, which I'm pleased about. We've got Beginner's Guide to Bright Blended Backgrounds. That looks interesting, if you can see that there. It's very difficult to get a whole A4 page in shot without being miles away. Some really nice ideas. Beautiful. I was asked to do kind of like a clean and simple feature. These are nice. This is indigo blue. Is it indigo blue or is it Creative Expressions? Can't see. Oh no, no, it is actually the cover mount gift. It looked different. It is really interesting how different designers interpret their briefs and, you know, use the stamp sets differently. Really quick flick through. I don't think there's anybody I know in this issue. Quick flick through. This is cute. Catch up with indigo blue. I'm not going to show everything because it's a bit boring for you, and I know that my feature is near the back. So, oh, I was going to do something like this, but it wasn't clean and simple, but I do like this. And what a wonderful centrepiece that would make for your Christmas table as well. There's the lovely Lou Collins. And here are my makes photographed. Isn't it funny how photographing can make things look good, but can also detract? So on my little introductory bit where I showed my things, the camera was picking up the holographic detail of this matte layer here, but it doesn't in the photograph. And also the gold embossing that we did on this alcohol ink background, it doesn't really show as vibrantly, but they have photographed them nicely. I forget who it was who I showed these. A lot of people really liked this card, and I think this is probably one of my favourite ones, as is this one. Anyway, it's been a long time since I've played with alcohol ink, so I thought we'd have a go at making a background together. We're going to make this rocker card. I'm going to show you how quick and simple it should be, and these are the gifts. I did say in a previous magazine commission video that I would send a prize, and I'm sorry, with having had COVID and everything, I'm just behind on that. But give me a chance to catch up, but I will send this off as well, potentially overseas. It's not too heavy, or I tell you what I'll do. If the UK winner is drawn, I will send both of these to them. If an international winner is drawn first, I will send just the stencil, because that will be fairly cheap to post, and I'll draw for the stamp set separately. So I will leave in the description box what you need to do to win this set, which is absolutely beautiful, and anything from indigo blue is well worth having in your stash. Now I do need to just press pause because I need a stamp, and I don't want to open this. I'm going to find my stamp, just bear with. I tell you what, it is lovely having a place for everything, almost, and everything in its place, so I could lay my hands on this very quickly. So we're going to make the rocker card. I'm sure you all know how to make a rocker card. I have used this stitched circle die set from Heffy Doodle, but any that you have in your stash will be absolutely fine. And it doesn't even have to be a circle. Obviously, if you want it to rock, it will need to be a circle. I've cut 2 circles from white card. I think this is 11.5 and 10 approximately centimetres, and then I've cut from yupo paper another circle that is 9 centimetres. I'll talk about yupo paper more in a minute. Just going to bring in a little bit of scrap paper on my larger circle. I'm going to go round the edge. Well, in fact, what I'm going to do first of all, I'm just going to fold it in half and burnish it on that fold line. You can use your scoreboard to score a line. Okay, now I don't need to use a lot of ink, but I'm just using a little bit of wilted violet. Obviously, I'm going purples because I think that's quite a festive colour. But you could do whatever colours you like. And obviously I had to stick to a brief. I'm just going to add a little bit more. Set that aside to dry. Don't need that anymore. Don't need that anymore. Okay. That is a little bit damp, and then I've got my plain white circle which I will glue on in a minute. Just going to now put my scrap paper this way and bring in my yupo paper. So if you're unfamiliar with yupo paper, it is a synthetic Japanese style paper. This is Ranger, from Ranger. I think in the sample I might have used translucent. You can get different colours and oh, it does say translucent. Okay, if I hold it up, no, it isn't. This is opaque, but you can get translucent, which gives a nice effect. I think I've run out of the translucent, so I'm using the opaque. Now, I've chosen to use 2 colours of alcohol ink, and I've only brought one to my desk, so bear with again. And I know why I only brought one to my desk, because I stupidly was holding my storage tin that I have my alcohol inks in. It's a Tim Holtz Ranger one, and I've broken it because I didn't support the lid. Anyway, I am using boysenberry and denim. I've also got an alcohol ink air blower, which is really cool. And I've forgotten something else as well. Oh my goodness, just bear with again. I think we're all right now. I've got a blending tool and I've got a felt pad. And what I'm going to do to start with, I'm just going to put, if I can get the lid off. Oh. I'm going to put a little bit of blending solution on my felt pad and a little bit on my yupo paper actually. Just put the lid on top of that. Now you can leave the lid off your inks because they've got a little mechanism in the neck of the bottle that prevents them from drying out. So I've put just a couple of drops of the boysenberry and 1 drop of the denim, and I'm just going to stamp round. It would be, I think, absolutely wonderful if Tim Holtz brought out the alcohol inks in the colours of the distress inks, in my mind. And you can add more, take away. I'm going to add another little drop of blending solution to my felt pad. And there are lots of things you could do with the yupo paper and the alcohol inks and the kit. So you could use lift ink to stamp an image. I want a little bit more purple, a little bit less. And you can actually use your alcohol ink air blower to move the ink around as well. Now I'm going to add just 1 drop of the alloy, and I need to shake this up first until I hear the ball bearing rattle. There we go. There we go. Need to really get this well mixed up. And a little bit of this goes a long way. If you have alcohol inks in your stash, I do urge you to play with them. They're great fun. And you can just see now, I'm going to add a little bit more blending solution and see if I can move this alloy around. I think there are 3 or 4 different colours of alloy. And a bit more of the speckly bit going on. We'll have another little drop of the of the denim, just the merest little bit, because I don't want the colour to be just all flat. And actually I like that. I'm going to leave that as is. So lid on everything. Don't keep your felt pads, they're really not worth keeping. We'll put our lids on our alcohol inks and bring in my stamp platform, because I don't want to mess this next stage up. Now this should be heat tolerant, this yupo, and I'm just going to blot so that I get any moisture off there, because I don't want to what's the word, I don't want to get lots of embossing powder on my background here, but if I do you know, it doesn't really matter. And then I was asked to use this Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year stamp. So I'm just going to pop that right in the centre like so. And once I've heat embossed this, I mean, you could always have done this first, actually, the heat embossing, and then added the colour on the background. But we've got some background colour on there, coming in with my wow. Don't judge how grotty my wow is. If you were really precious, you could go over with an anti-static bag, but if I get the odd bit of embossing powder, do you know, I really don't mind. And one of the other things that I was asked to do was, I'm just going to do that again in case I haven't got a very good impression. One of the other things that I was asked to do with this commission was use a range of different colouring mediums. So I've used alcohol ink, distress watercolours, distress ink, distress spray and Lavinia spray. So we'll take this off here now and I hope for the best. I mean, really, you all know how to heat emboss and stamp. It's more this demo about the effects you can get with alcohol ink on yupo paper. Hopefully we've got a good impression. Not bad. Can you see that? Pop this back in the pot. And then there's going to be a little bit of noise while I heat up. That's always a good idea. It's always a good idea to let your heat tool heat up a bit first. I might have just splodged that with the felt pads. And now that that is heat embossed, I do want a little bit more of that speckly ink. So I'm just going to come back with this. I want a bit more depth of colour around where I've got the gold. And this is Cosmic Shimmer Detail Embossing Powder, Bright Gold. And it really is a lovely bright gold. Let's have a little bit more blending solution. There we go. Nice. I think we will leave that at that. So what I need to do now is make sure my finger's clean. I'm going to use, oh, I don't know which glue to use. I'm going to use this glue. It is a little bit warped from the heating, but nothing that sticking it under a book won't solve. Let's just, oh, I need something to wipe that up with. We'll just lay you on here. I'm getting in a mess, guys, getting in a mess. There we go. I need my IPA to get this off, really. There we go. And what I'm going to do before I glue this onto my actual rocker base is put this under some books in between some greaseproof paper so that it doesn't stick. And here it is, the next day. Sorry for the shadows. It's only about 10 to 4, but it's already really dark. So lovely little rocker card. And you can see the gold there. See the alcohol ink background, there is a little splodge there. And also you can fold it flat to fit in about a 4x4 envelope, I reckon. So it'll save you on postage a little bit. But do comment down below, what do you think? Are you going to try alcohol inks? Don't forget to like, share and subscribe.